Hey guys, MJ here, welcome back to the channel. Back at it again, episode 2 of Discord Bot Maker Tutorials. I am very sorry that there haven't been episodes in 5 months. I have been away, I have been recording my thing and the other thing. So yeah, but I am back. Finally, we're gonna have more episodes coming up soon. So today, want to thank you guys for 200 subscribers. You can see the setup tour in the cards, probably up there. Also, you can go ahead and see where I've been, also in the cards, about right there. So that's pretty cool. Today we're going to be doing all the stuff with checking variables, data, events, command types, all that type of stuff that we're going to be doing today. So I got to recap last episode here so you guys know what we're doing. So if you come over here and look at the screen, you can see here we had our 2 commands from last time. So we have our hello command over here, and we also have our set game command. So obviously from the first episode we learned how to send messages, something super basic. We stored it in a temporary variable, so we stored this send message, so the actual message here, in a variable, and after we made it wait 5 seconds and then delete that message. Pretty cool. We also were able to use command parameters. We were able to store data that somebody typed in chat. So we were able to delete the command message, which would have been the message that they typed in. So exclamation mark set game with our command prefix. So set game, and then it took what they typed in chat and it stored it in a variable called game. Then we set the bot's game to that and put in chat that we set the game to this. Again, stored it in a message, and then waited 5 seconds to delete it. So pretty basic stuff, but it's good to get a good basis of what you're going to be doing throughout the DBM. So today, I'd like to first start off with controlling data. So what does controlling data really mean in Discord Bot Maker? Well, it's quite simple. Controlling data is not like a list. So you're not storing multiple values, you're going to be storing a single value. So the easiest way to show it would be using numbers. So you can use zeros and ones for using trues or falses. You can also store little pieces of text. So by putting the text in there as well, you can also store certain strings or text. So it's very simple. So what is the difference between server data and member data? So there's a couple of things. If you look at the screen here, I'm making a new command here, and I'll call it our data command. So first, let me show the controlling data. So when we go over here and we click on our create under the actions, and we click send message to open our action list, we can go over here and see deprecated, and this is only in the beta. If you are not in the beta, you will see it in server control and member control, and you'll see control member data and control server data right there. So difference between both of these, you're both setting data, but with the member data, the data is assigned to their ID. So this is cross server. So wherever the member is with your bots on, it'll know the data that's saved. So let's say, for example, you have something called is playing. So it's like they are playing a game, and the data on here is set to is playing, and our value is 1. So now the user, let's say the command author as an example, is playing data as 1. This is shared over all of the servers. So if this member is on one server, another server with your bot, this data will persist on that user. But maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want the data to just stay with the user on the same server, or you want to store certain server variables. For example, the bot is playing music, or the bot has whatever. So you can do cool stuff like that too. So you can do control server data, and now the data is assigned just to the server. So the current server in here would be the server that they're typing in. So if I type like the data command, and the server here, current server, that's the server that they're in. So I could be like playing music, could be something like that. And you see here playing music, we can set this to 1. Now if I try to grab playing music from a different server, the value is not going to be 1. It's going to be the default value, which would be 0. So you're not going to have any data on the other server. But if I run this command on the main server, which I made the data go up to 1 on, it would go up. Sorry if that was a little complex to you. I'll show you guys that in a second. So here we go. I'll show you guys that right now, actually. So let's just delete our command message. We're going to make a new command here. I'll show you how this works. So if we go over here and delete our command message here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to deprecate it like I did before. We're going to do some member data. So command author. This is going to be me. So the person typed in the command. Let's just say I'll call this data because we're not going to be doing much. So we can store the value 1. I like using 1s and 0s for trues and falses. So 1 is true, 0 is false. So let's just create this action here. And let's just say data is now 1. Well, we just set the data. But now, how do I grab this data? Well, very simple as well. We can go make a new command. And I can call this grab data. So now you can actually store data from the server and member data in a variable. So you can go over to store member data. We choose the command author. This is me who typed in the command. And if the data doesn't exist, we can set a default value. So usually, like I said earlier, with falses and trues and all that type of stuff, 0 is usually the default. So I like leaving that at that. But you can put whatever value you want in there. But usually you want to leave this at 0. So our data is called data, and now we're going to store whatever data that we put in here in this action number 2. So it's going to be 1. So where do I want to store this number, wherever we put it? Well, we can store it in a variable here. So we can call this my data. So now we can send a message by clicking here, right-clicking, insert temp variable, and now you see my data. We can create this action here, and I'll save that. So what we just did right here, we're grabbing and setting member data, and the same goes for server data as well. So it's pretty much the exact same thing, except you're storing the data in a server and not inside the member itself. Let's test this out. So we should see if I grab data, because I haven't set the data yet, I'll put this to set data, because I haven't set the data yet, it should be 0 because there is no data. But if we do set the data, it should be 1. Let's try it out. Let's go over here on Discord and let's go ahead and start our bot. I did Control R, I clicked OK to start the bot. So we're going to grab our data first, and what we should see is the data should be 0 because we didn't store any data in it yet. If I do grab data, you'll see how it says 0 because we haven't set our data to 1 yet. And because there's no data that exists, the value would be 0. But if we set data, you'll see our message here. Data is now 1. If I do grab data now, you should see the number is now 1 because we stored this in the member. So pretty cool. And the same would go for the server. I want to do the exact same thing. It would be stored just in the server. Pretty cool. Very simple too. So it's really just a matter of grabbing and setting all that type of stuff. You can set something. You can make trues and falses. But what if I wanted to do something where I wanted to detect if it was true or false? Well, this is very easy. You can actually make a command. It's called check, or you can use the action check server or member data. So this is pretty cool. You can actually have it do specific actions based on the data that is stored. So if we go over here to check member data, we command author, we can actually see if this data equals 1. So if the data equals 1, we can have it do certain things. If it's not, we can also do certain things. Maybe we don't want it to be equal to this, all that stuff. So if we wanted to detect, let's just say, if the bot is playing music, we could have it run these certain actions. But if it's not playing these actions, we can have it do something else by using if false and if true. And obviously we can store if it's doing something with 0s and 1s. Now, I'll show you guys that in a second. But what if we wanted to store text? Well, you can't store plain text like this. It would actually come out as false because you're trying to store text in an integer field. This is a value, not a text field. So to convert this to a text field, we're going to put quotes in between this. And this is going to turn this into a string. So by putting quotes in between our text here, this is DBM knows that, oh, I'm putting text in here, and now it's going to parse this text as plain. So if I start the bot, let's bring them over here, you can see if I do grab data, you'll notice that it's 1. But when I do set data, now if we do grab data again, we should say the data is now plain. Now if you did not put that in quotes, and I'll show you guys that here just so you know if you broke something. If we delete this here, and I'll delete this just so you don't get confused. If we try this here, you'll notice it should say false. So let's grab data. It should still be plain because we didn't set it again. But if we set data, you should see it should be false because it doesn't know what that is. It's not a number. Pretty cool. So that's really the basis of data and all that type of stuff. But how can we use this in real world? It's very, very easy. So what we can do is we can do stuff like a vote kick or a vote skip. You can do maybe already voted, and a really cool one would be anti-spam. Anti-spam is pretty cool because we can have it give them data every, like if there's every message, and I'll show you guys that in a second as well with the command type any message, we can have them give data and then have it be removed after 3 seconds or something. But let's say if it hits an amount of data before 3 seconds hits, we could mute them, or we could kick them from the server, or we could give them a warning, whatever you want to do. It's endless possibilities. Let's go ahead and show you guys what the any message command type is. So this is pretty cool. We can use this to store every single message sent in the server, and we can have certain actions come against it. So I can show you guys here. Let's just call this our message event. We can do stuff like if somebody types hello in the chat, we could have the bot respond hello. They don't need to include their command tag, command prefix back here. They only need to type in the word hello. So how do we detect this? Very simple. We're going to be using the check variable. So what is check variable really? So checking variable, and I'll show you guys this here for graphic wise. If we go over into our action list, conditions, and check variable, this is pretty cool. We're really just checking a variable to equal another value. So let's say our value, and I'll store our command text here. So the text that's sent in chat. We're going to store the message text here. And we're just going to store this in message. So we can actually use check variable to detect if somebody sent a message. So if we store our message variable here, and again, that is our message text that's sent in chat, check variable would work. We can see if the message equals hello. So if somebody types hello, just like that, they'll the bot can do certain actions, like it could respond hello like that. So you noticed here I put hello in quotes. Well, just like how the memory data and the server data works, it's searching for a number, but to convert this to a string we need to put the quotes there, and now DBM knows, hey, this is a string, I'm going to parse this as text. Pretty cool. So we can do stuff just like that. Now what if I want to do something like an anti-swear? So I could use match regex. Now if you don't know what regex is, I put a great link in the description down below which explains how regex works, all that type of stuff. It's very complex, but the easiest way you can do it is storing multiple values. I want to store some swear words here. So let's say my swear words are hello and goodbye. Those would be my swear words. Now notice I put a value symbol right here. This is regex for multiple words, so it's going to be searching for hello and it's searching for goodbye. No need to have 300,000 check variables if you were going to use them. You can just store all of that in a single thing. Now one of the things I've heard people ask me about all the time is, what is the difference between equals and equals exactly? Well, equals is very simple. It's going to store the whole number. And this really only goes for numbers. It's going to store the whole number. So if my value here on my message was 1.0, it would check if the value equals 1. But if I enter like 1.00 like that in chat, I'm checking if it equals 1, it's going to say true because it's the whole number here is 1. If I do equals exactly and I just type in my message as 1, it's not going to detect that. It's going to make it false because my number actually isn't this completely. So if you're using numbers and need to get down to the exact decimal to get correctly, equals exactly is the way to go. I wouldn't do that though, because sometimes if your data is like certain things and it's a repeating decimal, sometimes that might not work out so well. So I recommend sticking the equals for just ease of use. Now, one of the things I wanted to show is why nobody uses exists. One, it's really bugged out, and this will come up every single time. But the main idea for exists is checking if a variable is null or not. And null means there's no data in the variable. So if the variable literally doesn't exist, it can do certain actions. But again, nobody uses this. I mean, maybe people do, but I've just seen it bugs out like that. I don't personally use it. My bots are very complex, and I haven't seen any need to use this. And obviously, you guys know greater than less than from like preschool of how like if one number is less than the other or one number is greater than the other. And includes, this is pretty cool because I'll show you guys this. We're searching for a message and we're going to search for hello. And again, we are searching for hello, all lowercase, just like this. If the message is not hello, we can just stop. And if it is, we can have it reply, hello, you. And I can just save this here, start, Control R, bam. You'll notice here, we're checking for the message. And if it equals hello, we're going to send the message hello to you too. So if I say goodbye, because we're not searching for that, not going to say anything. If I type in hello, you're going to notice it says hello you, just like we have set here with our check variable. Now, I'll show you guys here something. With equals, we're searching for the message to be, the whole message has to have hello in it. If I have any other words, it's not going to detect it. It's only searching for if the whole message is only the word hello, it'll detect that. What if we want to detect hello in any message? This is where includes comes in. So if we save this here, I'll Control T, Control S, Control R. This is saving or stopping the bot, saving and restarting the bot. If I type in hey, obviously not going to work. But if I say hello, I'm Matt, it'll say hello you because it noticed that hello in the message. And this doesn't matter where this is placed. We're not using store command parameters. We're storing the entire message, so no need to. If I type in like hey, hello, hi, it'll detect that because I have hello somewhere in the message. Well, it's kind of a cool little thing to know how this works. We can store variables, we can store messages. Maybe you wanted to check something against another thing. It's really, really cool. Very, very powerful too. You'll see a bunch of bots in Discord Bot Maker using this tool. Now, I wanted to show you guys that you'd use this most in any message because, like I showed you right here, we know how any message works now because we know the command message here is actually the message that's typed in chat. Pretty cool. So yeah, this is pretty cool. So we learned today how to set data. So we learned here how we can go ahead, control member data. It's tied to the member itself, and that we can't put data in like this with text. It's going to store it as false. It thinks it's a number, but it's not. By putting it in quotes here, now Discord Bot Maker now knows, hey, this is a string. We're going to interpret this as a string. We know how to grab data now. We have member data here. And again, we're storing the data that we set back here in a variable called my data. So when we send my data in chat, it'll actually send whatever value we've set in here. In our message command here, we also stored our message in chat. And again, we're using any message here. So we're storing all the messages sent in chat. And if the message in chat equals or includes the word hello, we're going to send a message, hello you. So pretty cool stuff. So we're able to understand how to use some more complex features now of Discord Bot Maker. So quickly before we end off, I wanted to show you guys events, because we haven't gone too much in depth of events. Events are pretty easy too. This is actual triggers. So we can do stuff like when the bot joins the server, we can have a DM the server owner saying, hey, this is how you set me up, or welcome to my bot, have a good time with me, or whatever. So we can do cool stuff like that. So let's say we banned a member here on the server. We can store the member who was banned. We can store the emoji that was created as an example. We can do stuff like if there's an error with the bot, it'll send it in chat. We can do stuff like maybe we member joins a server, we can say, hey, welcome to the server, have fun here, whatever you want to do. It's pretty cool. Now the one that I'll see everybody use, and I've not seen anybody not use these two, on interval and bot initialization. Two very different things, but very cool. So bot initialization is used very frequently in bots that are on a single server or are on multiple servers, that they want to store the exact same data every single time. Now what kind of data am I talking about here? Well, maybe channel IDs or maybe role IDs. So you can store a role, for example, I'm not going to go into this, I'm just going to show you this. I'll go into this next episode by finding a role here. Maybe I wanted to make my role ID this, or I'm searching for that role ID, and I want to search for a server variable of role, my role. So if they have a bunch of things they want to store or whatever, it's very easy. They can store it in the bot initialization because the bot will store all of the things when the bot starts. So we're easily able to use it in commands that we can just store role my role, and we don't need to find it every single time. So this is useful there where we can save actions. We don't have to put 700 find channels in a single command because we already found it once in our bot initialization when the bot starts. On interval's cool because we can actually have it run actions every so on seconds, like maybe every 30 seconds, every minute, maybe every second you want to run it. Usually you don't want to do that. It's very frowned upon, but you can do cool stuff like that. So I'll go more into events and I'll show you guys that next episode. I'm giving you guys a cool little cliffhanger here, how to use events. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Next episode, we're going to be going over lists. We're going to be going over how to make the bot play music. We're going to be talking about storing data in a queue, all the type of stuff, mainly music, lists, and well, what other actions do we have on here? Maybe editing channels and maybe embedded messages, whatever you want to do. I'll show you guys that all next episode here. Hope you guys did enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you want to see more. And I will see you guys next episode. Bye-bye.